Good morning, everyone here in class. Good morning, everyone watching online. We are broadcasting live on YouTube as well as Facebook, and we are here in San Antonio, Texas. And today we are going to be talking about how to make your listing shine. If you're watching online, especially if you're watching on YouTube, if you'll just comment down in chat, let me know if you can hear me okay, and let me know if you can see our slide presentation as well. So right now, and this is true here in Texas and all across the nation, those of you who are watching in other cities, right now it's a heavy seller's market. Interest rates have been low, and we have more buyers than we have sellers. So we have a lot of agents who are doing, for lack of a better term, lazy listings, lazy real estate, and expecting, you know what, people will come and buy a house as soon as I put it on the market. I don't have to put effort into it. I will tell you that our days of being a heavy seller's market is not going to last forever. Interest rates are climbing this week, and we're going to expect interest rates to be in the high 3s, low 4s, probably in the next 30 days if what all of my lenders are telling me is true. So this is the time to get used to doing good, conscientious listings, being complete with your listings, and doing right by your sellers. And by the end of this class, you're going to learn how to do that and do that better than most of the agents in the business today. So before we get into that, I want to thank our sponsors for today. So first, Robert Montalvo with Mortgage Financial Services here off of I-10 in San Antonio, Texas. So if you're looking for a lender, you can lend anywhere in the state of Texas, give Robert a call. His contact information is there. If you need to reach out to him or don't get a chance to jot this down, let me know and I'm happy to send you his information. I'd also like to thank our friends at Snapshot Image Pros. Who better to have sponsor a class about listings and making your listing shine than a real estate photographer. If you are located here in the greater San Antonio area, so basically Broncos all the way down to Poteet, out to Floresville, Hondo, even up into Bernie and Kerrville and up into the hill country. If you are local, you're going to be entered into a drawing for a $50 gift certificate for your next listing photos. Snapshot Image Pros does 25-inch packages for $105, so basically you're getting half off. Website snapshotimagepros.com for all of your listing photos, including virtual staging, video slideshows, and they do so much, and it's all included in that 105. So get more bang for your buck when it comes to your listing photos, because that's going to make a big difference when you are putting properties on the market and how to get those listings sold. So let's talk about what we're going to be talking about today in our agenda. So the first thing we're going to start with is really, what is your job as a listing agent? Most folks think it's simply doing my listing presentation, throwing up something on MLS and crossing my fingers and hope for the best. But we're going to really get down into what is the purpose of a listing agent and what makes a good listing agent. We're going to talk about the ideas of first impressions. First impressions are really the only impression that matters in most business, and doubly true when it comes to real estate. We're going to talk about listing photos and what makes good photos and bad photos, and some of those first impression emotions that come out when we look at photos. Real estate these days is a visual medium. Folks are looking on Zillow, on Trulia, on Realtor.com, all of those sites that we wish our clients didn't look on. That's where people are finding their real estate agents and finding properties. So we want to make sure that as a listing agent, we are presenting those properties in the most exciting and attractive possible, and what happens when we don't do that. Let me go back. We're going to talk about the info that goes into your listing, basically the info that you're going to be putting on MLS, and why being complete with that is going to be super important. We're going to talk about what goes into a great description. This is one of the things that stresses agents out most. This is where they tend to overthink, is that little paragraph of text that goes into your MLS listing. Trust me, guys, it does matter. And you can write fantastic listing descriptions with little effort, little thought, and just being aware of what's going to tap into a buyer's mindset. And we'll look at some good examples and some not so good examples to help guide you through writing your listing descriptions. And then we're going to give you a little bit of homework so that way you can practice as well. So let's get going. What is the job of a listing agent? So the main job of a listing agent is to present a client's home in the most attractive way possible. It's to bring the most number of buyers into that home as possible. When I go to my listing presentations, I tell my sellers, Mr. or Mrs. Seller, this is going to sound weird, but my job is not to sell your home. Buyer's agents get your home sold. My job is to get as many people through the door as possible. People coming to see your house, people coming in with the idea that this may be the house for them. That's what gets contracts, and that's what gets contracts quickly and for top dollar. So my job is to present your house in the most attractive and universally desired way possible. I tend to joke that it's kind of like Tinder. You should look better online than you do in person. So what can we take control of that's going to make a house stand out? So number one is the photos. Number two is the categories we select when we go into MLS. And number three is that description that we talked about writing. That's really our job. Our job is three things: is making sure visually it looks good, making sure it ticks as many boxes that a buyer might be interested in, and making sure that we tell a little bit of a story about this house to make it enticing for someone to include it on their list of homes to go see. Let's talk about the importance of a first impression. So the first impression is the only impression that matters. As humans, we are visual creatures. We respond with this much more quickly than any other sense. We can make a decision about something we like or we don't like in seconds. And buyers are doing that as well when they're looking at properties online. Most buyers make a decision about a home from the pictures within seconds. We upload, 10, 25. Now in our market, we can upload 50 images to MLS. I guarantee that most buyers are making a decision about that house within the first 2, maybe 3 photos if you're lucky. So you've got to hit it out of the park from photo number 1. They'll look at just a few images and decide, do I want to go see that house or not? Honestly, a lot of times if the photos aren't standouts or the photos don't make it look special, even if that house ticks all the other boxes, buyers are going to tend, I don't know, I guess if there's nothing else out there, or I don't know, we can skip it for now. Don't be the listing agent with the house that gets skipped over. Be the listing agent where folks are making appointments upon appointments. Be the listing agent where folks are clamoring to come see that house. That's how multiple offers happen. And again, right now we are in a seller's market. It's not going to happen forever. So if you think you can rely on what we've seen over the last maybe 6 months, you're sadly mistaken. Get used to doing the job now. Having professional photos with your listing will ensure your listing sells quickly and top dollar. We all think that this is a professional camera. And don't get me wrong, your iPhone can do some fantastic photos, but here's the thing, guys. Your iPhone and you as a real estate agent will never take the place of the ability for a photographer to edit photos and edit photos well. They know what to look for, they know what to take out, they know what to highlight, and they know how to do it professionally and efficiently. Just like I would never ask a photographer on how to put a property on MLS, I'm going to rely on a photographer because I'm not a photographer. That's who can specialize in that. You're a real estate agent, not a photographer. I just mentioned a photographer who can do 25 images for $105. Most real estate photographers are, depending on your market, anywhere between what, 150, maybe 175 on the high end. If that's the difference between getting your client's house under contract the first week that it hits the market and not, you're going to get your $100 to $200 back many times over by using a professional photographer. So let's take a look at some examples. I mentioned that we are visual creatures, so let's get visual. So the photo on the left, that photo was taken with an iPhone. Perfectly good photo. I mean, you see the house clearly. Sky looks halfway decent. This was Texas during the summer, so the grass isn't the prettiest. Photo on the right, same photo, taken with a professional camera and professionally edited. So if you have a buyer who is just scrolling through photos online, or maybe it's property that an agent has sent their client and they're just scrolling through photos online, which of these two photos do you think a buyer is going to respond to first? Right, the right one, exactly. So this is the power of what having someone who can handle things professionally, who knows more than you do, can do for your listings. Let's take a look at another one. I made it a point of pulling before and after photos, not of these amazing, estate homes or brand new builds or anything like that. I wanted to do kind of lowest common denominator, and even below average price point house to prove my point. So photo on the left, taken with an iPhone, not edited professionally. Photo on the right, professional camera, professional editing. Just how much more bright and open and new that second photo looks. Think it's worthwhile to have someone who knows what they're doing? Absolutely. Let's continue on. Virtual staging is one of my favorite things. People can imagine themselves in houses that are staged, but sometimes we, or maybe our clients, don't have the money to pay for a stager to come, or maybe the furniture is maybe not the best, or doesn't highlight the room in the way that we want. Virtual staging. Our sponsor can do virtual staging for $35 per photo. Most virtual stagers are somewhere in that $35 to maybe $50 per photo. Photo on the left, taken with an iPhone, not edited. Photo on the right, professional camera, professional editing, and virtual staging. This is powerful, guys. This is what gets listings sold. Invest in your clients. Invest in getting their homes sold. When we are buyer's agents, we are happy to take, I don't know, maybe 2, 3, 4 Saturdays out a week, drive around for 2 to 3 hours each of those days, have to refill up our car a few times. And we don't see that as a spend. We don't see that as taking away from us. But the moment someone asks us to spend $125 to make someone's house look good, we're like, oh, no. I guarantee I've spent more than $125 of my time taking buyers around. So there shouldn't be a reason why I'm hesitant to take $125 and make sure that a listing looks beautiful. Make sure that the listing looks in the best light possible. The photo on the right just looks more expensive. Guys, selling houses is all about perception. It's all about what a buyer perceives a value to be. We can run comps all day long. We can pull properties in the neighborhood and get a general idea. But the desire for someone to come in and make an offer is based off that perception. And remember, they make that perception before they ever step foot in that house. Get them thinking about that house. Get them falling in love with that house before they even come in. It's another virtual staging. So we have on the right 2 photos taken with an iPhone. We did some editing on them. The photos on the right are the ones with the virtual staging. Just how much cleaner, especially on that bottom one, that carpet's seen better days. So we put furniture over it to make it stand out, to make it look warm, inviting. People can picture their families in this home because now they know, oh, I can put my sofa here, and if we had a little table here and maybe a little nightstand over here, they can imagine what life is going to be like in that home. Selling homes is all about tapping into a daydream. So let's do a little exercise. And if you're watching online and you want to pop in chat, absolutely pop in chat. I want everyone to have an opportunity to participate. I pulled this home. If we talk about the home objectively, the floors aren't bad. That's probably pretty new tile in that bathroom. We've got a pretty deep driveway, 2-car garage, sits up on a hill. If we take out the visual atmosphere, on paper, it's probably not a bad house. But take a look at these photos. Obviously, there's nothing professional about these photos. What words would you use to describe these photos? So I see outdated, old, dirty. Yeah, I think that those are good assessments. Again, when we look objectively, again, that flooring looks pretty new. Tile doesn't look too bad. But remember, we have 2.5 seconds to catch someone's attention, and we can either catch it positively, or we can catch it negatively. This listing here, catching attention negatively. Kind of wish I could reach out to this agent and go, okay, can we get this photographed just for example purposes to show what we could do with a house like this. The other thing that a professional photographer will know better than we as real estate agents are angles. That photo on the far left side, we just have a little corner and the tip of a toilet. If we had professional equipment, wide angle lens, we could get more of the bathroom and make it look bigger and more spacious. So we're dealing with this house that on paper, if we looked at the facts, probably a halfway decent house. But based on this, we got words. What did we have? Ugly, we had dirty, we had outdated. Don't have the ugly, dirty, outdated house. Let's go ahead and switch over. What word would you use to describe this house? This is a pretty nice house. Builder grade cabinets, granite countertops. That pergola in the back is very nice, I will admit that. But there's nothing terribly unique about the house other than the fact of how it was photographed. So let's see. In chat we have new. It's a great word. It does. It looks new. It looks up to date. It looks clean. It's pretty. Move-in ready. So you can keep your comments, keep them coming. But I think those are some great words. And yeah, I would 100% agree with it. Someone can look at this house and go, you know what? There's really nothing we need to do before we move in versus this house. If these are the two houses under contention, folks are going to pick this house all day long. And this is just because of good photography. Let's continue on. What words would you use to describe this home? Feels a lot like that first house. So old, sad, I like that one. Outdated, cold. Yeah, that's a good one. Anything else from the folks in here? Yeah, I totally agree. It's just nothing special. This house is fantastic. I mean, it looks relatively new. You look at the front of the facade. It's not necessarily an older home. I do know this home is on, I think when I pulled it, at 3/4 of an acre. So this should be desirable property. The tile in the bathroom maybe could use it a little love, but notice how short that bathroom looks because they did the MySpace angle where they shot it from here and tipped the camera like that. So they cut off the ceiling. You have no idea of perspective, so it just looks squat. That grass looks like it needs some help, and really all that is because of the glare from the sun. We could come in and let me come back to a good photographer could turn that grass and sun into something like what we see on the right-hand side. Let's go back. Let's continue on. This is my favorite one. I went through and was just pulling photos from MLS. This one was my favorite. Number one, this is the same house. The paint on the photo on the left, the paint on the photo on the right looks like two different colors. But it's the same house, same paint, because if I pulled up the rest of the photos, eventually the one, like that yellow tone tends to go away. But when I first saw it, I was like, did they upload photos from two different houses? But no, it's the same house. You can kind of tell by that front door that it's the same. It may have been taken at two different times, but it's the same house, same paint. Nothing has changed. So let's talk about what we're going to use to describe this house. The one that I came up with is obviously confusing because I don't really understand the layout. I don't really understand what these houses are. Are they, like I said, I thought, are these two different houses? Yeah, they're small. We've got old, needs work, needs repairs. This is a relatively move-in ready house, guys. Doesn't look like it, but it is. So if this house had been photographed well, we use the term it's got good bones. This house has great bones. It just needs to be shown in that light. That photo on the left-hand side, the one where it looks a little bit more yellow, we have similar to what we ran into this last one, where that angle, now it's not that we have no ceiling, we just have too much ceiling, and now we don't get that perspective of that floor, and that kitchen looks really tiny. I'm going to suspect that kitchen extends a little bit further than where that photo was cut off as well. And again, someone with a keener eye would be able to pick that up and make sure that something like that didn't happen. What words would you use to describe this home? See in chat. We've got beautiful. We've got luxurious. Move-in ready, absolutely. Updated, yeah, that's a great one. The layout of this house and the layout of this house aren't too terribly different. And I guarantee if this house was shot like this house, we'd be looking at two almost identical houses. There's really nothing different in terms of the bones. Maybe the tiles could use a little love, but for the most part, we're talking about houses in similar conditions. Over on the right-hand side, we have that blue sky, that green grass that makes it look warm and inviting. Again, if we're tapping into that daydream, we're talking about backyard barbecues and the kids running around, and we could put a swing set back there. Or, oh my gosh, there's so much room for a pool. This would be great. Tap into that daydream. Don't tap into that nightmare. And here's the last one that I wanted to bring up. And this one I really wanted to show because this is a home that was built in, I believe, 1976. Of course, it looks like the floor has been updated, but it's not a brand new, like we talked about, this one here. This one is maybe a 5-year-old home. This one, we're talking about a home that's older than I am, and that's pretty dang old. But again, because it was photographed and edited properly, we now have a home, again, that taps into that daydream, that folks can see themselves in, that they can see themselves pulling up into that driveway after work at night and have this warm, inviting glow waiting for them. If you think that buyers don't keep this in mind when they're going to look at homes, you're sadly mistaken. So it's not just about having a new home or the most recent updates. It's about how can you take the home that you have and make it look the best possible. So let's talk photos real quick. The average cost, again, $100 to $200 for 25 edited photos. That blue sky and green grass can cost extra. San Antonio snapshot includes those in those photos, so that 105 would include that. $35 to $50 per photo for virtual staging. Twilight photos, which is what that one there is, the exterior photo, $30. Again, the cost of photos can seem high, but when you think about what you're doing and how much money you're managing for your sellers, it should be a no-brainer. And I guarantee you're going to get it back probably multiple times over that. Let's say $150. You're probably going to make an extra $300 to $750 in commission because that house looks more expensive. Again, it's all about perception. Also, the house is going to sell more quickly. Again, I understand seller's market. I get it. There's folks in here who on the market and sold in 12 hours. I get it. I know who you are and I know your listing. But that's not going to last forever, guys. Believe me, trust me. Those days of those 2.75 interest rates are numbers. Those days are starting to fall behind us. Get used to doing good listings because now you're going to have to compete for buyers. One of the other things that I wanted to point out before we kind of talk about photos, but one of the other things that I wanted to point out is it's a seller's market, right? Go back. The home has been on the market for over 200 days. This one went under contract, I believe, in 3 or 4. This one has been on the market. This is the one that floors me. This was on the market for over 100 days when I pulled this photo. Down here in South Texas, we love our land. We love our homes with that big backyard. When we say big backyard, we're like, even an acre sometimes feels too small. This home is priced right. I ran comps on all these. It's priced right. But all the other houses in the area are selling. And this little guy is getting completely ignored. This one was another one that went on the market, listing expired, came back on the market, same listing agent. And at the time that I pulled it, it was still on the market. And I think we're pushing almost a year. So it's a seller's market. Man, we can't hold on to houses long enough. You know who can hold on to houses? The ones where they look like this. I think this one was a maybe 2 or 3 day. I think this one was like another 7, maybe 10 day before it went under contract. So what do the nice photos have in common? That they go under contract fast. What are the ones that maybe it looks not as good in photos? And this house probably looks great in person. I guarantee it's going to look good in person. But if you can't get people through the door, what's the point? So the ones where it doesn't look good online, they just sit there. The ones where they look good, they go like that. They go for 10,000 over asking, 20,000 over asking, no inspection period, waiving appraisal. We're seeing it. It's crazy. It's great for our sellers. This is what you want to be able to present. Again, if you're here in San Antonio, Snapshot Image Pros is our sponsor for today. They provided all of y'all with your breakfast tacos. 25 images started at $105. SnapshotImagePros.com. The green grass and blue sky is included in their photos. They also offer virtual staging, twilight photography, video slideshows, and more. They're also offering a 10% coupon. Let me hide this here. 10% coupon with coupon code EXP. So even if you aren't the winner of our $50 gift certificate, you can still get 10% off, and that's going to be for anybody here in the greater San Antonio area. Or if you live out of state and you want to fly them there, great. But anybody in the greater San Antonio area, basically anywhere between 45 miles from downtown San Antonio is the area that Snapshot Image Pros serve. And again, 10% off with coupon code EXP, so jot that down. So the next thing we're going to talk about is MLS categories. So it's important when adding a property to MLS that you provide as much accurate information as possible. And this may seem like a no-brainer, but I know we have all seen those listings in MLS where it has exterior features and we have brick. Nothing about is there a fence, is there not a fence? Are there sprinkler systems? Are there not sprinklers? Like, we just don't know. Or my favorite ones are the ones where all of the rooms measure 1 foot by 1 foot. We know that that doesn't exist in reality, right, guys? Yeah. So being accurate and complete with your information not only shows that you are willing to do the work that you were hired to do, but it also allows those buyers who may be looking for what your seller has to find it. If I have a buyer who's looking for a home with a privacy fence, because maybe they have a big dog and they need that privacy fence, they don't want to have to put it in after the fact. If your house has a privacy fence, but you don't mark it in MLS, is my client going to get it when I email properties? Probably not. I had a buyer once who had just huge bedroom furniture for whatever reason, didn't want to get rid of it, didn't want to downsize it. So we had to make sure that in the master bedroom that at least one of the dimensions was at least 18 feet. So if you had a home that had a master bedroom that was, let's say, 16 by 18, a huge owner's retreat, but you mark it 1 foot by 1 foot, my client was never going to see it. So be complete. What are some other things that buyers may look for beyond price, location, number of bedrooms, and number of bathrooms? Garage, like a 2-car garage, right? Yeah, so updated kitchen, so looking for granite countertops, that sort of thing. Multiple living areas, or eating kitchen, dining area, or kitchen island. So we've got all of these things that folks look for, these features that they look for. And if we as listing agents don't mark them down, those buyers are never going to know that that property exists. So when you're going into MLS, make sure that you are selecting as much information as possible, that you're telling as much about that property as you possibly can with all of those little drop downs. Let's talk about descriptions. That's the third part of what goes into your listing. So a good description should highlight the standout features of a home while painting a picture of what a potential buyer has in store when they come to see that home, or hopefully come to buy that home. The description should be easy to read, should include proper spelling and punctuation. Again, I know that's like a no-brainer, but I'll show you why that's not always the case. So we're going to go over a few descriptions, and I want to get an idea of what you think about those descriptions. So here's number one. Don't miss this private 3-bedroom, 2-bath home tucked away in the river bend of Camino Real community. From the spa-like experience of the master bath looking out into the atrium to the multiple patios, there's abundant outdoor living space with the convenience of a smaller, low-maintenance yard. Entertain from your bar and gather around the gas fireplace for many evenings of relaxation. New roof 2020, new fence 2020, air conditioning replaced 2018. So if we want to talk about creating a story, I can picture this in my mind. I can picture that backyard barbecue or having folks over. I can picture sitting in my bath. I don't even have to look at the photos, and I can tell you, oh man, there's probably a bathtub or a really nice walk-in shower. Man, if we're talking spa experience, this has to be an updated bathroom. It doesn't have that old, laminate like we saw in that one bathroom with the tip of the toilet. This paints a picture. This highlights what this home has to offer. And again, even without the photos, if you closed your eyes, let's do that. Go ahead and close your eyes. So I'm going to read it again. Don't miss this private 3-bedroom, 2-bath home tucked away in the river bend of Camino Real community. From the spa-like experience of the master bath looking out into the atrium of the multiple patios, there is abundant outdoor living space with the convenience of a smaller, low-maintenance yard. Entertain from your bar and gather around the gas fireplace for many evenings of relaxation. Okay, open your eyes. Can we picture it? Absolutely. This is what your goal should be. This is a great description. Maybe a little wordy there in the middle, a little run-on sentence, but beyond that, the sentiment is there. Let's go ahead and go on to another one. And I literally copied and pasted. So the punctuation, capitalization, that's exactly as it appeared. Pulte home, spacious 4 bedrooms, all upstairs, spacious game room, formal living and dining rooms, large kitchen, breakfast area, lots of upgrades. Enjoy the magnificent wooden deck with constant breeze with greenbelt as a bonus, sprinkler system, covers front and backyard, minutes from the rim, La Cantera, and all major shopping Helotes on Bandera Road. So let's talk pros. Pros, there's a lot of information about the house. I think the best part of that was talking about the wooden deck, the constant breeze, the green belt. I kind of have an idea of what this outdoor looks like, but man, is it cluttered with the all capital letters and no punctuation other than those hyphens. It's a lot to take in, and I don't feel like I really, really get it. I think this could be easily written to make it feel a little bit more like that. Punctuation would definitely help for sure. I mean, on the right track, man, just missed the mark. This, like I said, the sentiment is there, just needs to be a little bit better organized. Also, that last sentence, minutes from the rim, La Cantera, and all major shopping, Helotes on Bandera Road. That last bit doesn't feel like it's part of the same sentence, so just be aware of how you're organizing your thoughts. Let's continue on. Beautiful house, great location next to La Cantera Mall, the Rim Shopping Center, H-E-B Supercenter, lots of restaurants, UTSA, Valero, and Six Flags. This house comes with a lot of upgrades, granite countertop, 1 extra bathroom, backyard sprinkler system, new paint, new carpet. So still a lot of information. I know more about where this house is located than anything about the house. It comes with granite countertop. Is it just one? What are the other ones? Again, this creates a little bit of confusion. Is the granite countertop in the kitchen? Is it somewhere else? 1 extra bathroom. So does it mean it's a 2 bathroom? Is it a 2.5? What defines extra? Think about those things when you're writing your description. Someone who hasn't seen the home, hasn't seen the photos, and maybe doesn't even have access to bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, 1-story, 2-story, kind of take that out of it and think about that when you're writing your description. backyard sprinkler system, new paint, new carpet. I think that's totally fine. This has lots of like little, this would be great as like a little bullet point list, but think about it more of like you're trying to tell a story, like you're trying to describe something. And we're going to finish with this one. So falls in love with this beautiful one-story home with a 3-car garage that is ready for immediate move-in. Large open floor plan with luxury vinyl floors throughout. The open kitchen features 42-inch dark chestnut cabinets, granite countertops, subway tile backsplash, recessed lighting, stainless steel appliances, and gas cooking. The large master bedroom includes a bay window. The master bath has a walk-in shower, double vanities, and a large walk-in closet. Private backyard with a covered patio, front and backyard landscape, conveniently located to a future on-site elementary school belonging to the highly regarded Medina Valley ISD. Shopping and dining are just minutes away at the shops at Dove Creek and Alamo Ranch Shopping Center. So yeah, this tells a story. I know a little bit about what the house looks like. I know a little bit about the area. I even know a little bit about what's coming. That, oh, there's going to be a brand new elementary school that they're building right now. If I have young kids, or maybe I have like a 2 or 3-year-old that's going to be starting elementary in about 2 or 3 years, that may be a selling feature. I can read this description or hear it out loud. I can close my eyes and I can picture it. So when you're writing your descriptions, think about someone doesn't see the photos. If someone just hears the description or just reads this, will they have an idea of what this house is about? If the answer is yes, great, you did a great job. If the answer is no, back to the drawing board, tell your story, use complete sentences. I know it feels like you're back in, high school English class, but this will help you get your houses sold. This will help you stand out to your sellers. So when they have a friend who's looking to sell their house, who think they're going to refer them to, because you did such a great job with getting their house taken care of. So like I mentioned, I was going to send everybody home with a little bit of homework. So I want everyone to jot this down, these facts about a house. This is something I just made up. I don't know if this house is on the market or not. So don't go looking for MLS and copying anybody else's work. We're looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath with a pool, has an updated kitchen, 5 minutes from La Cantera, and a half-acre yard. So for your homework, I want you to practice writing a description for this property. You don't have to send it to me. You don't have to email it to me. I'd be happy to check your work if you feel that would be helpful. But use this as practice. Use this as a way to kind of get those ideas going. I guarantee once you write your first one, listing paragraph number 2, 3, 4, 10, 20 becomes so much easier. It becomes habit. It becomes muscle memory. So if you don't have a listing now, don't wait until you have a listing to kind of exercise these muscles. Don't wait until it's crunch time and it's Thursday and you promise your clients to get your house on the market on Friday. Practice now. Challenge yourself. Maybe next week, put together some other facts and write a description. Pull up some properties on MLS and go, hey, is this a good description? Or heck, I could do a better job than they could. Practice, practice, practice. Know your properties, know how to describe them, know how to select those categories in MLS, and leave the photography to the photographic professionals. And that's our class today. Hopefully this has given you some insight on making your listings a little bit better, or at least making it a little bit less scary. I know that the first time everybody puts a listing on MLS, they're sitting there for a couple hours. I know because I get phone calls from some of y'all or agents on my team who tell me, I'm about to put this property on MLS. I'll call you if I have any questions. And then it's 2.5 hours later and they're on section number 3. So now's the time to kind of get comfortable with it. Don't overthink it. Just relax into it. Deal with the facts. Make sure that you're making that house as beautiful visually and in the description as absolutely possible. And make sure that you are selecting every single feature and detail about that house as you can. We talked about one other little tip that I'm going to give you, the MLS categories, and we talked about the room sizes. You can go to Home Depot or Lowe's, or you can order on Amazon.com Walmart probably has them. Any major retailer that has any sort of home goods or DIY type stuff, and you can get a laser measuring tape. They run about 35 to 50 bucks, give or take. They run on, I think mine runs on AA batteries, and you can stand, like I could stand here and measure to where that window is across the room by pushing a button, almost like my little slide presenter. It'll pop that laser at that endpoint, and on a little LED display, it'll let me know how big that is. So there's really no excuse for not being able to get measurements on the room. So in your realtor toolkit, make sure that you have a laser measuring tape, so that way you can very quickly and easily take those measurements, so that way you can be accurate in your MLS descriptions, because trust me guys, it does matter. If you have any questions, I'm going to be here, so those of you in the room, please feel free to say after. If you are watching online, Stephanie.stone@exprealty.com, Stephanie Stone Rob on Facebook, at Alamo City Real Estate on Instagram. Shoot me DM, shoot me an email, friend me on Facebook, shoot me a message. Those of you who are watching on YouTube, thank you so much, YouTubers. You can comment down below on the video, whatever works for you, if you have any questions at all. Also, let me know what other classes you'd like me to teach. Same here in the room, if there's anything else that you'd like me to teach. I would love to continue to provide these classes for you. Again, thank you so much. Hope everyone has a absolutely fantastic weekend, and thanks so much for watching. Again, guys here in the room, please feel free to stay. I'll answer any other questions for you.